All right, let's also get a comment from Mark Mobius. We did speak to him yesterday on where he sees the markets moving as well. Listen into an excerpt from that conversation.
I think, again, you have to look at specific markets and specific companies, but in a number of cases, yes, these recoveries will be sustained, particularly those companies that are benefiting from the downturn. I mean, if you take companies that are doing conferencing work, companies involved in the cloud, which is now overwhelmed with the need for capacity, these companies will do quite well. Now, as I said, there's always going to be corrections along the way, but I do believe we're at the cusp of another bull market going forward. And I think the market and the market participants are beginning to realize that this COVID-19 is curable. In other words, they're coming up with cures. Various medicines are beginning to work, and the vaccine will eventually come into play. And as I said, the natural immunization, the mass immunization, is taking place as we speak. So I think that's what the market is taking into consideration. And by the way, the other aspect, of course, is the incredible liquidity that's being poured into the global economies, not only at the individual country level, but at the international level. What the IMF, IFC, and all these international organizations are doing to feed liquidity into these markets is another reason why you've got to really think about equity so that you're in an asset that's going to be moving with the rise in inflation.
Okay, before I start taking some questions from the chat, I just want to establish some data points for the benefit of our viewers. And our research team has done some brilliant analysis. Let's first look at the MSCI chart, the MSCI Emerging Market Index, as to how that MSCI Emerging Market Index has done and moved in the last couple of months and in the last couple of years. Then we'll compare India with other emerging markets. Now, these are two important indicators which will tell you what India is doing, where India stands right now, where India is positioned in terms of relative and also in terms of absolute basis. Just bear with me, those data points will just come up on your screen as to what the India performance with other emerging markets is and where do we stand in terms of the YTD performance. So Mark, the question which I think is a consensus question in the chat window is that what are the chances that global markets and Indian markets could retest the March lows?
There is a chance of that happening, but I doubt if they would go below the lowest point that we witnessed. I don't think that will happen, but there will be corrections along the way, no question about that. I think one of the reasons for this would be as the earnings number.
All right, we've had a whole host of brokerage reports also coming out globally and back home. So let's take a look now at